maybe I got lucky because I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. I did nothing to help the 250th anniversary, because if I take credit for that one, then you'll say, I think he's exaggerating a little. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president, and they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass.
Donald Trump last night at the White House making comments, and the dude is comedy gold. Basically explaining how early in his first administration he worked hard to get the World Cup to come to America and the Olympics, and that by the time they were going to arrive, he wouldn't be the president. It would be after even his second term ended, because they're coming up relatively soon now. And then he said they rigged the election. And that rubs a lot of Democrats the wrong way. That's a conspiracy theory, Donald. And conspiracy theory is the theme of the morning. Good morning. It's Kelly Nash. And yeah, Donald Trump not only spreading that conspiracy theory yesterday, he was asked to comment on Joe Biden's cancer revelation. And this is what the president said yesterday afternoon in regards to that.
There are things going on that the public wasn't informed, and I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's two separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so.
Yeah, it's definitely not so. And, you know, we're all armchair doctors when it comes to the cognitive abilities of the president of the United States. That's true on both sides of the aisle. Anybody can judge the cognitive abilities of somebody when they're falling down, they can't speak, they can't even walk across the lawn, for God's sakes. Yeah, there was problems with Joe Biden, and it was obvious even before he was elected the first time, if you believe he was elected. That's a conspiracy theory. Let's get to Karen Finney. This is a very serious woman because she is one of the senior advisors to the Hillary Clinton presidential campaigns, and she was appearing on CNN last night, and she wanted to respond to what Donald Trump just said about Joe Biden's health.
I mean, he went right into, never missed an opportunity to, pump up a conspiracy theory there, Donald Trump, real classy. It was shameful because, look, two things can be true at the same time. It can be the case that it was recently diagnosed, which is what I believe, and that it is very aggressive. And it can be the case that we may want to have a conversation about some of the revelations of Jake's book. I mean, we constantly go to these conspiracy theories as ways to divide us rather than staying focused on, I think one of the most important pieces is the information the doctor was just sharing. I hope it means more men actually go out and get tested.
Oh, Karen, you're so right. You want to unite Americans. These conspiracy theories just divide Americans. And isn't the big message of Joe Biden's announcement really that we should all get checked for prostate cancer, especially men over the age of 50? You would have thought that back in January of 2024, what is it, like 14 months ago, when Lloyd Austin made the big announcement that he had gone pretty much AWOL because of prostate cancer. And then, I'd like to urge all men to get themselves checked. Yeah, you would have thought that Joe Biden even then would have gone, hey, I haven't been checked for prostate cancer in forever. But even the president must have ignored Lloyd Austin in order for your story to be true, Karen, because he just found out Friday. It doesn't take 14 months to get a diagnosis of prostate cancer, especially when it's advanced, especially when the doctors say it's probably been there for at least 5 years, more likely closer to 10 years. It's been with Joe Biden. But, look, we should have sympathy because he's got cancer, and so you can't talk about it. I don't even know why you're talking about Jake's book anymore. That should be off the table because he's got cancer, for God's sake. Show some dignity to the man. Okay. That's a conspiracy theory that there was cognitive and physical problems with Joe Biden that were not revealed to the public and that the doctors and the Democrat Party in general were hiding them. That's a conspiracy theory. Let's listen to a Democrat conspiracy theory. This one was launched literally Sunday night. Chuck Schumer couldn't wait to run to a mic and make up this bull crap.
We know that the Trump administration has been meddling in U.S. Coast Guard operations, from staffing to command and comms. And I have the general sense of a DOGE dysfunction in parts of the Coast Guard. To put it mildly, after being fully briefed on last night's Brooklyn Bridge accident, one thing is very clear. There are many more questions than answers. We know that there has been meddling by the Trump administration into the Coast Guard staffing, and now we need to know how this meddling might have impacted the events of last night.
The question I would have for Chuck Schumer is, did somehow the DOGE cuts affect the power source for the tall ship from Mexico? Because that, according to everybody, that is a unified front, I guess, in this conspiracy theory, that the tall ship was heading out to sea, lost power. They don't know why it lost power. Pretty similar to what happened with that oil tanker back in Baltimore. And then the tide dragged it back into the Brooklyn Bridge. How is that have something to do with the Coast Guard, Chuck? And I love how Chuck says after I've been fully briefed. Okay. See, that's the implication, that I have information that you, the general public, don't have access to. And so I can make an assessment that you're not privy to. But I, in full transparency, would like to share with you my concerns because I have information that you do not. And I will not be sharing that information with you. It's classified. It's very top secret. It's the same crap that what's his face from California was doing when he was grilling Robert Hur. I have seen the tapes of what you're claiming Joe Biden looked like a forgetful old man. I cannot believe that you would describe him that way. These people are just, look, the conspiracy theories for the Republicans, they're not perfect, but a lot of them have come true. All right. The Hunter Biden laptop was not Russian disinformation. We always said it wasn't. Joe Biden had cognitive problems the whole time. Look, was the 2020 election rigged? We still think so. We believe so because there's so many anomalies in there, like 98% of the votes in certain counties going. It's never happened. Barack Obama never got 98% of a county. Why did Joe Biden suddenly get 98% of a county? Why does he have the highest voter turnout in history by far? But you know what? That one hasn't been proven. But, did the Capitol Police open up the gates and allow the people in on January 6th? We saw that video. How can you say that that's a conspiracy theory? We saw it. Anyway, but your conspiracy theories are that somehow DOGE went in and cut the power source off to the Mexican tall ship so it would hit a bridge. What the flip are you talking about, Chuck Schumer? Whew. All right, that's a heck of a way to get the morning started, isn't it?